begin working with our purl stitches, which is because this will be on a purl background, and we want to work all of our stitches prior to working any of our cables. And remember that you always work your stitches in groups, and so if you have purl stitches and increases and decreases, and you do all of your purl stitches, then all of your increases, then all of your decreases. And the reason for that is that all of these guides that you need to set for each row may change, particularly the guides this direction. So particularly your horizontal guides will change some. Your vertical guides will change. Your horizontals don't normally change quite as much. So, click create a new layer, and I am going to call this purl. You may want to separate each stitch type into its own individual layer. That is entirely up to you. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really depends on the complexity of the chart. So click add. Now, these layers that you set earlier, each of these needs to increase by 6, and so this is 658. Move that to 664. Sorry. I went in the wrong direction for that. And so this is 648. And so each of these moves down. And this can be very frustrating very quickly. So this is 658 minus 6 to 652. There we go. And so you want each of these to be set at 1/3 from the bottom. And then I normally just adjust based on the last row that I edited, and then just keep going down by 18 for each of these. Until you have adjusted each of these guides. Oh, I see. Edit, undo, and this should be set to 490, and I believe I set it to 590, which is not correct. And you'll note that I'm working in pixels here. If I come up here, you'll also see that this is in pixels, and so I have not changed anything in my document properties. I'm doing that because this entire grid here is based off of pixels. Now, I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to see that this is set at 309. Then I'm going to subtract 18 to get 291. Double click on this guide here and move that to 273. That cannot be right. Ah, 309. It's 291. And so yeah, this should be 291. And that puts all of my guides now 1/3, and so this is 2/3 down and 2/3 to the left. Now I will create my first purl stitch. So I click on my A symbol, draw a square, write a slash, underlining, deleting what's in there. And I'm using the Knitting Symbols by Air River. You may use whichever font you desire. I do, however, recommend that you do not have a box already drawn around your font symbols. So now I'm just going to drag that symbol there. And so I can right click on this and copy. And then I'm just going to paste me a bunch over here. And then drag them into place. And so you'll notice that they're snapping into place. And this takes a little bit of practice, but it's definitely worth the effort. And you can kind of see here why I normally would be doing this with my pen on my tablet instead of using a mouse. And so right click, paste, left click, drag into position, right click, paste, left, and drag. And so I'm holding down the left mouse button and dragging this into position, paste again, and drag. And I'm always pasting outside the area here, then dragging it in. I do this so that I do not have to worry about accidentally moving one of my grid lines. Alright, so now that I have this row in place here, what I'm going to do is I have my select tool up here, so I have that selected, and then I'm drawing me a box around this entire segment of purls. This is only good for a section that has a lot of repeats, such as a purl background for a cable chart. Right click. Oops, I'm sorry. I forgot to copy. And so you want to come down here, edit, copy, edit, paste, and now select, because all of those are selected at the same time, just drag them into position on your chart and they'll snap right into place. And it will save you quite a bit of time, especially with a ton of purls. So I'm just kind of playing around with it until I get it right where I need it to be. And then I'm pasting. And you'll also notice the role that my lines played here, and that they told me what section of my chart did not need the purl row background. Now I'm going to save my work and lock my purl layer.